All right, there we go.
Okay, we have time.
Give me 1 second here. All right. So thank you for your
Yeah.
patience. Thank you for your patience here. This is our pilot show. I've got you. You're live on YouTube now with me,
Wow.
and
Yeah.
thank you so much for this impromptu show.
Exciting. Yeah. Yeah. I wanted to do this for a long time. We wanted to do this for a long time already. I think we thought about it 3 weeks ago, and we never
Absolutely,
got to do it. Yeah.
absolutely. So, just to give our audience a little bit of the backstory regarding this podcast, this was something that we've been talking about for quite some time, and we just kind of kept putting it off. And one day, believe it or not, one day, I think it was around October 5th, we decided to do a podcast. Maybe a little bit a day before that, October 4th, October 5th.
Yeah.
But we
Yeah.
decided to go live on October 6th. And October 6th was a relatively strange day because at first we decided not to do
Mhm.
it, and then at the very last minute we decided to do it. So we came home, set up all the equipment. I think it was about 6 p.m. No, actually it was about
Yeah.
6 a.m. your time.
Almost. It was almost 7 in the morning, but my time.
Correct.
Yeah.
And
Probably like 6:30. Yeah.
Friday, just a kind of a strange Friday, and right before
Hmm.
we went, right before we were supposed to go live, you received a notification.
Yes. I received not only one notification, I received like 20, 30, 40 uh, um, messages from the front in Israel, um, saying that there were rockets. And I just, unfortunately, we're kind of used to it here. Sometimes, there's 10, sometimes there's 15. So it's kind of like, the regular. But that was like nonstop 30, 40, 50. I thought something was weird. And I turned on the news. And then I saw what was happening. Then it was more than rockets. It was Hamas invading Israel.
Right, and it was a bit of a shock for both of us because uh, I've been out to
Yeah.
Israel 2 times already, which I had a wonderful time. That's a whole different,
Yeah.
another subject of conversation. You had just actually left, probably about a week, maybe a week and a half or so, from visiting here with
Yeah.
me. We spent quite a time in New Orleans, so you were, freshly getting back, getting into the routine swing of things when all this happened. So I mean, just talk about timing
Yeah.
with the situation. So you had just visited here. We spent a great time in New Orleans, and again, I've been out to Israel a couple of times already and had a wonderful time. So
Right.
this quote unquote war that's happening right now kind of put a hold on this podcast.
Um, a hold on a podcast. Yes, a hold on what we wanted to do originally, which is talk about our special connection that we have, and I think that this is just adding to how we see things, and how we progress, how things are developing,
Right.
how we move forward with this thing that is war, and it's challenging. So
Absolutely correct. Now, while we're on this subject of war and relationship, I had a
right.
different title for this podcast, and today I was inspired by my love
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
to rebrand the podcast to the art of love and war because love is truly an art. And when I say the art of love, um, the art of love, in order to um, hone your craft, to develop your art, you have to continue to practice. You have to put work and effort into mastering anything that you want to pursue in life, whether it be your career or your relationship. So it is an art that
Mhm.
you have to practice. But I threw in the war in
Mhm.
there, not necessarily to talk about the war that's currently happening, but to understand that when we talk about war and we talk about relationships, it's almost like we're fighting a war on a daily basis because number one, there's a distance between us. There's the determination
Yeah.
that we have to make our relationship work. It's a determination that we both dedicated our lives to, and we set some parameters in our relationship that we typically do not want to ever go more than 60 days without seeing each other, things like that. And plus, we've recently gotten engaged, which is a beautiful thing, and we're looking forward to a future together. So it's sort of like a war um, that we fight just to um, keep stability and strength and determination and courage and all these wonderful things in our relationship. So that's a play
Yes.
on words. There is a war we're dealing with, but there's other wars that we're fighting as well. Would you agree?
Um, I mean, yes, there is an actual war uh, right now happening. I mean, I think it's more if we're talking about our relationship as a war. I don't know. I think it's more challenges, and that would be the challenge of maybe the distance. But I mean, I think love needs to be nurtured, and because love is a lot about giving. Um, so when you give your love, you have to nurture it. You have to make sure that um, your partner, his needs are met and things are good and safe and happy as much as can be. Um, and that's very much like um, I want to say like a child. Like you want this love, to grow in the healthiest way and like a stable home, and to just spread its wings. Um, I think that's how I see it. Um, but as far as war, I think it's more like a challenge. It's a challenge for both of us. Not that we can't overcome it, but it's something that we do every day. That we know that we wake up in the morning and we know that this is how it is, but we choose to continue to nurture and to make things happen, for us.
I agree with you 100%.
Yeah,
I
that
would
makes
not say.
sense. I
Let
don't
me.
know.
I take the word war
Yeah,
back, and because you're my
yeah,
paradise, so yeah, I can't. It can't be war if you're my paradise. So you're the love of my
yeah.
life. So but by no means is it anywhere near being a war. But
Yeah,
I totally agree with you that there are challenges that come, with this relationship. But you
yeah,
know what? I would not have it any other way.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
there's so much we can talk about, and so
Me
much we
too.
will talk about. We can't cover it all in this podcast, but let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. So, from the standpoint of where things are right now, and again, we're kind of bouncing around a little bit, but right now, you mentioned a few times that getting back to the norm is important. Getting your kids back in school, which is important. Getting back to normal working hours, that's
Yeah,
important. Um, it,
yeah.
giving that right now, do you feel that that's probably one of the most important things right now that you're looking forward to in Israel itself? just kind of getting back to some sense of normalcy?
Yes, of course. It's look, for 2 weeks we've been glued to our screen and really living this tragedy that is still unfolding. Even though where I live in Israel, it's not really in the heart of you know the place that things are happening and being destroyed by rockets. We still feel this this tragic turn of events, because Israel is a small country, and we we really have this sense of family here. We're maybe total 9 million people, and we have this sense of like we know each other, and when we see people being hurt and being killed or kidnapped, or we have this we feel like we're connected to them, and we take it personally, and emotionally it's draining, mentally um, it's exhausting. It's exhausting. I mean, I know that I watch the news every day, morning and evening, and there's a lot of sadness. There's a lot of horrible, images that we see. So we have to, stay sane. We have to, like, even though we want to be in the heart of everything that is happening, and we want to help and we want to be there, we still have to, stay. Uh, we have to keep our identity. Like, if there are things that we like to do, or things that we need to do, this taking care of our kids, our family, going to work, then we need to do that as well, so that we keep some kind of like healthy, mindset. Um, but for the first 2 weeks, I was really, not feeling, not that I wasn't feeling healthy, but it was draining. It was draining, and only this week am I able to say, okay, I can go back to my normal self.
Understood. Understood.
Yeah.
I so just and I've already let you know this already, but we have a lot of fans out there, and so many people have asked about you. So many people have given their well wishes to us,
Right.
you and the family in Israel. So we have a lot of super fans out there, and I appreciate each and every one of our supporters out there,
Yes.
and they're rooting for us, and the and I know that things will get better. Just so that just so because I know that you're pressed for time, and just so that everyone knows that um, I really enjoy going to Israel. If anyone is out there and they've always had questions about Israel, drop once we release this video, drop something in the comments. We will address that. But I love Israel. I've always wanted
Yeah.
to, as you know, always wanted
Mhm.
to visit Israel, and just to give a little bit of the backstory on my relationship with Israel. My grandmother, rest in peace, who was born in 1910, raised me for the most part, and she raised several of our grand her grandchildren. And my grandmother, uh, all my life, Israel has been, coming out of her mouth in some way, form, or fashion, and it, during at one point, her church was going to charter a trip to Israel. I think this was back in the late '70s,
Right.
early '80s. I think mostly the late '70s, and she could not raise the money to make that trip. So also, even as a small kid growing up, 7, 8, 9 years old, I knew that Israel was a place I wanted to visit because that's what my grandmother always talked about. And by me coming to Israel for the first time, I felt that I was, at least I was coming to see the love of my life. Yes, but I felt that I was also coming to finish that last leg of the trip that my grandmother could not finish. So um, having you in my
It
life,
was an emotional trip for you. I think the first trip
the first trip was very
to
emotional. It was
Israel.
like closing the books
Yeah.
on that, which my
Yeah.
grandmother could not accomplish, but I accomplished that on her behalf. But at the same time, I was able to spend time, with the one woman of my life, and and again, I appreciate you tremendously. And again, we encourage anyone who has questions, about things that are going on regarding whatever is happening. We try to remain neutral to these sort of things, um, and just kind of focus on, the relationship aspect of things. But we welcome all questions that anyone may have regarding anything associated with our relationship or just Israel in general, and we'll try to address those issues. Um, Before we wrap up,
What was the most emotional? What was the most emotional part of your trip in Israel? What do you take with you, like
very good
when you think
question.
about Israel and you remember and
Very
you say,
good
"Wow,
question.
that was the moment."
Very, very good question. Um, I have on my computer, um, I have a video view of the West Wall, so you can see that. So anyone who's out there that's wishing to see what a beautiful sunrise or sunset is like in Israel, just type in West Wall Earth Cam, and that live feed will come up. So for years, I would probably say for at least 3 years or longer, that I would tune in to view that West Wall, and it was the most majestic, the most beautiful scene that I've ever seen in my life. Not only
Mm.
watching that beautiful sunrise, because it would be in the mornings when I would see it would well it would be in my evenings in the morning there. I would see these beautiful sunrises, but I would also see a group of um, uh, devout, whether it be Jews or Christians, visiting this West Wall, and that West Wall being such a majestic and having so much historical significance. Seeing the reactions of individuals that are near that wall and touching that wall.
Yes.
So my experience was having the opportunity to actually go down to that West Wall and have a moment.
Yes.
Very inspirational, very emotional, and it was an experience to be able to say, I saw that, and now I'm there.
Yeah. You're
And I,
there.
and,
But
and I,
you're
but
touching the actual
right,
um, stones that you were looking at for years. You were
correct,
looking,
correct. And again, I
this
contribute a lot of that to you as
this
well,
first game.
for taking me there, showing me, the old city. So I
Yes.
love it. And again, it's a place. It's a place unlike any other on this planet. And there's a calling. I know that you've mentioned a couple of times that um, Jerusalem is it calls you. There's something about that place, and I agree with you.
Yes.
It's a beautiful place, and
Yes.
there's so much
Yes.
energy in that city. So again, those who are interested in the trip, if you're leery, if you because I know a lot of my coworkers that I work with have never been there, and they ask me so many questions, and I'm happy to say that I'm able to answer
Okay.
those questions for them. So it's a beautiful place, but
That's
again,
beautiful. Yep.
if you have any questions, once we release this video, we'll edit it, of course, to edit out all the blunders in the beginning. But anyone that have any questions, we'll drop something in the comments. We'll address those questions accordingly.
Okay.
So
Well, thank you.
this is
I
just a
really
little
enjoy talking.
well. This is a little sprint. This is a little walk through the park for us right now. I think that we've been going. Well, we've been going for about 20 minutes or so. So we want. I don't want you to be late for work, but this is
Yep.
something. No, before we go.
Because this is my morning and this is your evening. That's how we usually talk.
Correct. This is what we do every day, but now this it's a little bit
Yeah.
more structured. Let me ask you before we go. Um,
Yeah.
i- if we continue these podcasts, which I definitely want to do, um,
Yeah.
do you think that this is something that would be a really good positive outlet to continue going to sort of because again we have chapters, in the time that we've been together, we have subject matter that we can talk about. So is this something?
Mhm.
Is this a platform that you would like to maybe do a follow up with a different subject matter? Will we really do a deeper dive into relationships? We are an interracial relationship.
Mhm.
We are a long
Yeah.
distance relationship, and we
Yeah.
have and we've traveled together, so we can talk about traveling experiences. We can talk about interracial dating experiences. We can talk about um, um, you know long distance issues.
Mhm.
So I have a
Long
lot.
distance.
We
Yeah.
have chapters and chapters upon
Mhm.
chapters upon chapters of information to talk about. So I would definitely like to continue this. If you would like to, then I look
Yeah.
forward to putting together a little bit something more with a targeted subject matter, and we can talk about it. Maybe spend 30 minutes to talk about a targeted subject matter of what what's on our mind and what we think to the
Yeah.
online audience we want to hear.
Well, yeah. I mean, I do appreciate you doing this right now because yes, we talked about it, but we're actually doing it now, and I'm really happy we're doing it, and um, I would like to continue, on doing this podcast and talk about, different subjects that we share together. There's also art and
Oh,
interfaith and many things that we share that sometimes we're not even aware of.
wait
Um,
till we get into the art aspect of things. You're right. We have so many subjects to do. So I'm motivated
um,
and I'm energized and
yeah,
I'm charged to keep this podcast going and develop a good fan base and answer
yeah,
questions that the world may have regarding our unique relationship. So let's keep this energy going.
perfect,
Until the next
perfect.
subject. Until the next subject. This is our pilot show again. Thank you everybody for taking the opportunity to join in. Sorry for the bumpy start. We'll refine the process and we'll keep things going. And we look forward to just
Yes,
addressing and
absolutely.
entertaining our fan base out there. So thank you everyone for your time.
Thank you. All
Thank you.
right.
Okay, see you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.